So today I'm going to show a switch on camera, and it's a voluntary switch, so you might not find that very exciting or sensational. But yes, you can voluntarily switch in DID, and yes, there are fMRI studies that show that there are different patterns of brain activation when you voluntarily switch between identities. Oh my god, you can see DID on a brain scan. It's incredible. It is a very real disorder. Don't believe there's like some conspiracy theory that's not real, and I'm pretty sure that conspiracy theory was originally made up by pedophiles that wanted to discredit their victims. I'm not kidding. If you look into it, it's so obvious that's what happened. But anyway, so I'm going to show you a voluntary switch. There are a lot of people on this website that have videos of them switching, and oh my god, they can't possibly be diagnosed by a real therapist. Like, they have to be faking. Like, it's so fucking not how it is. So right now I'm an adult personality called K. I am actually not what's called a host personality. A host personality is a non-trauma containing identity, and they kind of run your life, and then you have the alternate personalities that remember traumatic events. So an alternate personality in DID is basically like a post-traumatic flashback that's become its own person, and the memory is so compartmentalized that they have their own patterns of what's called default mode activation. At the end of this video, I'll give you a really cool research study that you can look at and read about it for yourself. It's awesome. But so I'm Kay. I'm an adult personality. I made this little picture so you can see it. Maybe there's too many colors though. Maybe I should have made this a different color, like black or something. Anyway, so there's a child alter that I am co-conscious with. So let's talk about co-consciousness. It's possible to be more than one alter at a time, although the honest truth is, so if I'm K, if Blue came out and did a bunch of things and said something to someone for like 5 minutes, I actually might forget literally what I just did. Like, I'll switch back to K, and he'll be like, wait, I zoned out. What did I just do? And then I'll find out, like, I made toast and, like, called someone or something. That's an extreme example. But it's not like a complete time loss usually, because I'll usually be partially there since I was co-conscious, but I do still lose a little bit of time if one alter predominates. But right now, there's a child personality that's also present. They're in the background. I can hear them talking in my mind. They're very, you don't hallucinate it. You hear your alternate personalities as like these very consistent trains of thought inside of your head. So Blue's here. Her story's tragic, and we're not going to talk about what happened to her or what happened to me to form me. Because I'm also a trauma-containing identity. I should not be doing as much in my life as I do, but my life's kind of stressful and has some degree of danger in it. So unless I'm at my boyfriend's where I feel safe, I'm usually not a host identity anymore, which is bad. It means that my life needs to change. But hopefully getting closer to my boyfriend will help. Anyway, so on to the voluntary switch, which yes is a real thing. I will give you a study that shows you that voluntary switches are real switches. Hi, so I'm Blue. Some of my alternate personalities disparagingly call me the Mickey Mouse voice because my voice is like high. When I listen back to this, I'm probably going to be disappointed by how my voice actually sounds. It doesn't actually sound like how I think. I still think of my voice as how I was when I was a kid, and that's so clearly not how it sounds. But yep, so I'm a child personality. I originally formed when I was 4 years old, but now I experience myself more like 8 years old because some subsequent things happened that I also went through as an alternate personality can be traumatized more than once. Oh my god, that's too many things. So, yep. So yeah, that might not be as exciting as you were hoping it would be. Switch caught on camera and whatnot. But this is real. This is what it's like to actually have the disorder. And I actually sound sane and rational now, but when I get triggered, I actually become partially nonverbal and I lose my ability to coherently talk. And I get really freaked out and say whatever I think the people that rape me as a kid would want to hear. And sometimes that's kind of deranged and delusional because, like, it's not happening now. But these flashbacks are really tricky. They really, really trick me when they happen. I keep thinking, I'll never get tricked again. I know about it. I'm onto these flashbacks and how, like, all-consuming and scary they are. Then they trick me. Next time I have one, immediately tricked. So I hope this wasn't disappointing. I'm going to give you a research article now that's super cool. Okay, I haven't gone to 10 minutes yet. I get so anxious about that now. That arbitrary time limit is the worst. Okay, so fMRI Dissociative identity, personality switching. What have you got for me, Google Scholar? Yep. There's a bunch going all the way back to the 90s. But, okay, so this is the case study. There are a bunch of case studies, but there are actually ones where they had people with DID voluntarily switch, and then they had people who didn't have DID simulate, like, you know, they made up a character and simulated pretending to be that character. They didn't get the same functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI results, as the people with DID. We have what's called a default mode network, okay? So the default mode network, I'll take over for this. So the default mode network is kind of like our underlying pattern of brain activity. People who are anxious, you can actually see that because they have a more broad and more activated, so to speak, default mode network. It's, what was the correct term? I forget. I'm blanking on the correct term for that now. But yeah, it's diffuse. They have a more diffuse pattern of brain activation. That's it. So I'm so sorry. Whenever I switch between two alternate personalities, sometimes what I was just talking about just evaporates like water that's been left out in the sun. It's really annoying. It's like your thoughts just kind of drop. It's kind of very inefficient. It's like I said, it's like having severe ADHD. Wait, did I say that? I had planned to mention that having alternate personalities is like having severe ADHD because you have not just your own thoughts, and I have ADHD that I was diagnosed with. It's not just your thoughts rushing around your head. You also have a second version of yourself that feels distinct enough to be another person. It really does. I usually feel separate from my alters. Like I don't feel like I become them. I don't feel like I am them ever. They're like these presences that I fundamentally can't perceive, but I can, you know, I lose time and stuff and see that they've done stuff. I see that they're real. But a lot of times I can hear part of their thoughts, but I usually can't feel their emotions because they're so compartmentalized from me. But what'll end up happening is every now and then I'll touch them. It's really weird, but it's like for like 5 seconds, I'm that alter for a second. It's really weird. I just overlap with them perfectly. I'm like, oh my God, I really do see the world differently. And the shit that like comes to mind in my memory immediately is totally different. It's fascinating. Then I switch back. Like the separation gets reimposed. And it's actually quite fascinating, isn't it? Now let me get you an fMRI study. This might not be the best one. Let's see here. That's in PLOS One. I don't know about that journal. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. I should have put in a filter for more recent articles. Voluntary switching, a functional fMRI case study, part-dependent state resting activity, a controlled fMRI perfusion study. Okay, this should be good. No, I do not have a cookie preference. I am not taking your cookies, PLOS One. In accordance with the theory, blah, 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 methods. Spin labeling was used to test the hypotheses. How many people did they have, though? I'm tired of all these case studies. They had one that actually had multiple people in it. But here you go. You can check this out. Let's get in a display capture real quick here. Okay, yeah, this will be good. This is very important to me that this stays scientific and interesting. I know what you really wanted to see was what DID looks like and what a switch is, but you're getting some real science here and you're going to deal with it. Okay, here's my display capture. Okay, check this out. Look at all this. Actually, just Google this in Google Scholar and you can read a wealth of information. There you go. Now your mind has been expanded. You're welcome. This is better than most of the content under this tag on this website. And maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't want to like bother other people. But I'm pretty sure half the people that say they have DID on this website either self-diagnosed and don't know that they don't have it. They self-diagnosed and know they probably don't have it, but don't understand why it's a big deal to not like just decide to identify as an illness. Oh shit, I'm running out of time. Or they're just faking. It's really terrible. Okay, bye.